It's historic. Everybody gets screwed. Either the record company screws you, or the manager screws you.
But this is your
somebody.
bandmate screwing you.
Yeah, that's especially, the irony of it is I think Don Henley was the head of Coalition for Artist Rights.
Oh, that's wow. But let me ask you were upset.
Which is a bit hypocritical.
You were even upset with Joe Walsh. You felt when you got thrown out of the band, he would have stuck up for you more.
Well, yeah, I called Joe right after I got the phone call, and Joe and I had been, literally, I drove him to rehab. I, put him in my car and took him there and did everything.
By the way, everybody drove Joe to rehab.
Oh, they did?
That wasn't a big deal.
Not everybody got him to go in.
Well,
go ahead,
I only had me and Joe in my car.
I'm just joking, yes. And so you say you were so close with him, and then you call him up and say, Joe, I just got thrown out of the Eagles. Let's go in there and tell those guys off.
Yeah, well, it put Joe in a really difficult situation. I mean, you were talking about the control they have over him.
Yeah.
And he would have had to make a decision to put himself in a position where his neck was in the guillotine as well, along with mine, or just kind of step back and go, I'm sorry this happened. This is kind of what he did.
So he did. He remained silent. And
yes,
were you angry with him at that time?
I wasn't angry. I was more hurt than I was angry.
But you
really
could understand, he didn't have that protection.
He didn't have the protection. He didn't have the power. As a matter of fact, in my inquisitions, I was really asking not only for my benefit of what was going on, but for Joe and Timothy as well. They had no right to ask for anything, and had not asked for anything.
I mean, I'm sure whatever Joe gets paid is a nice paycheck, but it's a paycheck. It is not ownership.
That's right.
But if he writes a song,
he owns
something, I guess.
Right?
But who knows?
Or is it like working for the telephone company? Anything you discover, it belongs to us.
I don't know right now what exactly Joe's deal is with them.
Right.
I can't discuss.
Well, they have an
in your non-disclosure, what about writing the book, though? Didn't they say to you, you are not allowed to write a book or talk about us or anything like that?
Well, that was their countersuit. And then the last contract we signed, what we would do is we would sign these ongoing contracts for every tour we did. Say, okay, we're going to do this and end this. And the last couple of contracts we signed, they put in this thing that said nobody can do press or radio or newsprint or write a book or anything without the express written consent of Henley and Fry. Huh. In other words, you couldn't open your mouth unless they said it was okay.
Wow, that's
but the term of those agreements were only for the tour.
I see. But why write the book? In other words, you're a wealthy man. You have more money than you'll ever need.
Let's go back to where I was when I was terminated. I'd gone through a really long, difficult time, divorce with my wife, 29 years.
So half the money went out the window.
Well, I didn't care about that. My heart went out the window is what really mattered. So I'm sitting in a really dark place,
Right.
And so I started doing a lot of meditation. And while I would meditate, I kept reliving how I had gotten from that little dirt road in the South to where I was right now, having gone through all the steps along the way. Yeah, everything that I'd done. So finally, I sat down at this computer and I started writing this stuff down. Not with the intent of writing a book, but just more self-therapeutic than anything, cathartic.
Like a journal,
to just kind of start looking at myself and understanding more clearly, mentally and emotionally, what had happened to me. Finally, I've realized I've got hundreds of pages of this stuff, and my fiance said, you should write a book about this. And I went, that's not a bad idea.
You're a creative guy. You're looking for creative outlets.
But I didn't do it with any sort of sword in hand to decapitate people or show anybody for their warts or anything, because we all have warts and stuff in our lives.
But I'm sure Fry and Henley hate this book.
Well, I don't know. I've only heard from their lawyers. I've never heard from them.
That means they hate it. The lawyers don't call and say, God, great book.